So this is stage 40, creating the thoracic cage. Now because I do this through Agora, it means that I'm no longer able to look at the next issue, which is one advantage of being with Hachette, but that's fine. So I've loaded up my screws already in little pots. We've got some 2x6 mils and some 3x6. We've also got some more 2mm M2 nuts, which we will need throughout the build. So let's begin with so step one, we need to take the piece of the cage that we fixed this, what do we call this, a rod. So we popped that rod in earlier, and what we want to do is we want to take the pieces. This is quite interesting. No, sorry, I backtrack. We actually take these pieces from stage 40, so these are the new pieces. Ignore what I've just said about the old pieces. Now these are going to go into, right, so just like the last one, these have flattened sides on one end but not on the other, and they're both going to go into there. You can see there's a shaped end. Now I was going to suggest we do one at a time, because step one is to place them in and step two is to screw them in, and I was going to suggest we do one, screw it in, then go back, do the other one, but as you can see they're actually in quite tight, so we may as well do them both. So we want to screw that in with a 3x6mm screw, which is, whoops, I've just dropped one. I did not mean to do that, and that's conveniently fallen into this little hole here. So what we need to do then is we need to drop in a screw into there, and I would suggest the easiest way to do that is to take a magnetized screwdriver, of which that head may be too large. Yep, sorry guys, I've got a head that's too large, which has been the problem most of my life anyway, because it makes hat buying very difficult because I can never get one that fits. Right, so magnetized screwdriver, pop it into there, screw that in as tight as we can, and what that will do is ever so slightly it will pull that rod inwards. So there we go, that's in as tight. So if for example we were only able to push the rod in that much, that's not a problem, because by the time it's been screwed in you see that it will finish it off. So let's pop this screw into there. So now that the screw is bitten, I can demonstrate that really well. So what I've done is I've pulled this rod out as much as I can. Obviously there is a screw attached to it. So as I continue to screw, you see it's pulling that rod in, and it's actually quite firm in there now. And now I can't find the head of the screwdriver. There we go. No, I thought I had it. Right. So there we go. That's stage one and step 1 and 2 done. They're both screwed in nicely. So the next step is to fit M2 nuts 44 into the hexagonal recesses in part 34(1), which is this piece. So we need to turn this over, and we are fitting the nuts there. So let me have a look at the next stage. Right, so let's look at the next stage then, and that's going to be that this piece is coming in, and that's going to go there, like so. Just make sure I've got that correct. Yes. So we've got 6 holes on there. Those 2 larger ones, the little pegs are there. The pegs are going to go in to fix them. So I'm not going to put 4 nuts in there. what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one nut in, then we will screw in the 2x6mm screw. We'll put just the one in, then we'll go back, we'll pop another nut in, and then we'll do the second screw, and so on and so forth. The hardest one will be the first one, because not only are we holding that nut in place, we're also holding the whole part in place. And we just need to check our screwdriver bit first, because we may need another bit, different bit. That'll be fine. So that's actually gone at an angle, and I'm not comfortable with that. There we go. So this piece is going on like so. We get all of those lined up. So the nut is there, and this screwdriver might not work for the... Oh, it does work. I just wondered about the angle, you see, because you see it's a little bit restricted with space, but this particular screwdriver, absolutely fine. So I'll pop the next nut in. Tell you what, let's be adventurous, shall we? Let's do 2. Let's see, just for fun, if I can hold both of those. I wondered if I could with my fingertip. I think my fingertip is large enough. Lovely. And the third one's going in nicely, and that's not going to move just with 3 screws in. So we'll just finish it off with the last nut, and I'll just put my finger over that. Should have loaded up the screwdriver first. Sorry guys, I'm not looking at the camera. Is that all in shot? So there we go. So what we have done is we've placed 4 nuts there. We've held those in place. We've fixed this part with 2 locating pegs there, and we've put 4 screws in. I've got a feeling those 2 lugs there, they line up with these 2. So I wonder... Oh no, they don't. No, they don't. I was wondering if maybe something went through there and then screwed into there, but no, they don't. So we're up to step 6 then, and what we need to do for step 6 is we need to take these 2 bars, and these 2 bars, they just look like they've got just stubs on the end, and they're going to go there. So one will go in there and one will go in there, and let's just turn them around just to see if they're different. Nah, it's any way round. So then the next step, step 7, we need to take a socket liner, and I'm just going to double check the parts list. I do want to just make sure they are identical, and if they've 2 parts given the same number, which they have been, then that means the 2 parts are identical. So this will push into there like so, ever so simple, push fit. And now the next stage is going to be a fun one, because now we need to bring in previous parts. So let's get these previous parts out of the way. We'll get screwdriver out of the way, we'll get this part out of the way, and in comes the shoulders. So dun 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 dun. So take the shoulder assembly from the previous stage, which is this one, and the assembly from step 7. Sorry, when they said previous stage they meant this. Sorry, my bad. Take the position the assembly from step 7 on the work surface. lower the shoulder assembly from stage 39 over the thoracic cage assembly so that the strut 38.1 fits into the hole in the connecting part 39.1. So I think they mean this hole there is going to go over there, and that will just see if it will go. It doesn't want to go. I'm scared. So I am convinced this is the correct way round. Right. Do we push this hard? Ah, there we go. Just had to give it a little bit of a wiggle. So it's still got a little bit more to go. There we go. It's a little bit. I'm going to take those off. Maybe we should have put those in. This step 8, I think really it should have been step 7, and step 6 should have been step 8. So that I think is in. So now we can pop these, just with them sitting there, not glued, not screwed. You can see that they were going to fall out easily. Right, so step 9 shows the thoracic cage section and shoulders in place. And then we need to take the thoracic, oh, it's getting complicated now. So we need to take the thoracic cage joints from stage 37, 38 and position them in the large sockets. Now, looking at the magazine, I cannot see the holes. You see that there's holes where the screws went, and then but there's only one hole. It looks like the screw hole is actually going against this black bit. So I'm going to position that in there. I would suspect that this can probably spin round anyway, but that's how they've done it in the magazine. And next we will need the neck assembly from stage 22, and there is the beast, and that needs to go into this section here where we place the black section, and that's in there, lovely. And it's now doing its own thing, so we need to give him a bit of a pillow to keep him upright. Right, okay. So that takes us to step 13, which is we now take this piece. I think I'm going to have to go overhead view. You won't see so much. You won't see so much detail, but you will see more of the build. So we need to take this piece, which is part of the thoracic cage assembly from stage 37. We need to take another one of these, and we pop that into there, and then we carefully turn the assembly from step 13 over and fit on top of the assembly stage 12. So what we are looking for is, we have this neck piece there. Let me just adjust the focus. There we go, that's much better, isn't it? So cocktail stick, that must have got knocked with something because it's disappeared. So right, so we have the neck assembly there, the joint there. We also have connecting points there, these two pegs and these two, and looking ahead it's going to be screwed in there, there and there, and these two parts are quite wobbly, so I would suggest that they're the points that we've got to really look out for. So let's see if we can start with the neck. That's gone in really nice. So I've pushed it down about halfway down, and I'm just making sure it looks like it's going to line up, and mainly because I've got this at a slight angle, these two posts have slipped down a bit. So I'm just going to position these pegs, and I'm going to push down just a little tiny bit more until it's almost there, and then I want to move those pegs Once I feel those pegs are lined up, I can then push down a little bit more. And if these pegs aren't quite lined up, it will stop that from moving down. So it's a good little indicator for us. So that peg is in, and now the second one is in. There we go. So now that those pegs are lined up there, that enables us to push that down, and then these can go down, and that's all in place. So what we need to do now is take 3 PM 3x6mm screws, which are these ones, and we need to, oh, they're quite short and stubby because they are 6mm screws, aren't they? So make sure we've got the correct head. You will find that you could probably pick up a different screwdriver head and it will work fine. I've lost my screwdriver, there it is. But you will find another one will be better. So our fixing points are, sorry, I've just got a little bit confused now. Fix the bar at the bottom. Right. There is no bar at the bottom. Ah, okay. Sorry. Right. So I've accidentally looked ahead and then read and got confused. So first screw is going to go into here, and this is pretty much going to secure the neck in place. This is why I don't like a top-down view quite so much. In fact, let's switch to body cam just so you can see what I'm working on. And it would help if I had the focus. So I've just popped that screw in there, and that's in nice and tight. So our second screw is going to go in here, and that's going to secure those bars in. So these bars are actually screwed into the other half of the vertebra. And I'll just move this up a bit just to give you a better view. There we go, that's in. And then the last one is going in there. There we go, perfect. So that's that part on. So the final stage, if you remember this piece there, it was screwed into the vertebra, which is now at the bottom, and there was 4 screws and 2 locating pegs. What we now need to do is secure the other side to this piece of vertebra. So a little bit belt and braces, I think, which is why I'm really enjoying this build. So we need 2 2x6mm screws, and like I say, this will finish off the build. Well, this will finish off stage 30, sorry, not the whole build. So that screw's gone in brilliantly, but I do feel I've got the wrong screwdriver bit, so I apologise for that one. So I'm switching from a PHO to a PHOO. Oh, I don't know. You usually know when you've got the wrong screwdriver bit, because as the screw starts to get a bit tight, the head will jump out of the screw and you'll get a lot of clicking like that. But I think that is actually, let's always try a different screwdriver, can't we? There we go. So that is it, that's done. Now I'm finding this really amusing. I know I shouldn't laugh because it's not finished yet, but if any of you guys watch American Dad, there was an episode where Stan, he lost his legs for some reason. Did they chop him off or something? And he grew back legs, but they grew back quite slowly, and he ended up with little stubby legs. And it just reminds me of that episode. So you've got, this is the head, you've got the body, and his little legs in proportion to his body are all small and stubby. But that's just me. So this is what we've got so far. Wow is all I can say. Wow. So the only thing is, obviously I need to find that fingertip from the thumb, and that is the only drawback here. The only bad thing is that thumb has fallen off, but I'm pretty sure if I, worst case scenario, I can locate the issue and I can just buy a replacement issue. So yeah, hasn't he grown in the last 10 issues? So that is stage complete. The head and the top of the thoracic cage have been attached to the shoulders, and I hope to catch you in the next video. So thank you very much for watching, guys. You take care.